Hi everybody and welcome once again to Hollywood Hills, where we are bringing you something brand new. If you guys checked out the show on Monday, you'll know what this is. If you didn't check it out, then hold on to your hats, because this is going to be coverage brought to you by Hollywood Hills and LiveX of the final round of the 2020 EWXC Championship. And this is what went down on the hills of Heidelberg. Hope you guys enjoy the show. This wrapped up the championship. The fourth and final round of the EWXC Championship was held at Heidelberg. Coming out of lockdown, everyone was desperate to get those final bits of points to make up the championship, which was supposed to be a 5-round series, now condensed into 4 rounds with everything to play for. The first race of the day was going to be made up of the pro elites, the high schools, senior pros, masters and pro Bs, and there was still championships to be decided.
It's a stacked gate today. I'm looking forward to it. Been a long time off the bike. It's my second week of riding back. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
No, feeling pretty well. We've raced here a couple of times. It's different than what we used to. So we thought we need to come down here to train in this environment as well, because we're not really good in it. So make a trip down, come try and see where we need to work on and maybe come here more often.
5 laps for the pros, and Walker went out early. Off the front, they were chasing the big dog.
I'm absolutely thrilled. We were a little bit worried about entries with regard to the current situation, but yeah, the guys have pulled through.
I'm so surprised that so many people came out to Heidelberg today. Like, it's so good for the sport and see the growth of it. Like, great.
Tons of KZN riders had made the trip up, but in the championship fight, it was Sequeira versus Garvey in the pro elites.
Oh, that would be a blessing. I wish it could rain and be lacquer. But yeah, dry, rocky, hot conditions, going to be a tough one like normal.
I was hoping to bring some rain with, but it looks pretty dry out here. Well, we'll see what happens, and we're just out here to have fun today and maybe just to learn something new.
Yeah, it was freezing yesterday setting up, and we did have a bit of drizzle, but yeah, today the wind has stayed down, it's blown the dust away, so we're all good.
Was a very tough beginning to the race. Very rocky, very challenging.
Track laid out definitely had a bit for everyone. Gnarly rocky climbs and descents, and a little bit of flatland to get rid of that arm pump. High schools was busy, everyone chasing down on Armand Farid, Dumal Duplessis and Kevin Lee.
It was quite a rough course, I must say. The guys were going, not so much myself though, very rough, but a good day out nonetheless.
For Labuskakny and the old Honda, he was tied on points with Ronnie Fenter.
We got a nice entry list, and the guys are here, they're racing, they're loving it. Yeah, it's been an awesome day so far.
Flatland section definitely played into the hands of some of the guys who weren't too good on the rocks, but it was the rocks up and down that decided many a rider's fate.
The first half was quite a technical, kind of climby section, and then it opened up into something quite fast, so it was a mixture of both, which made it quite interesting, and it's kind of unusual because it's mostly in this area just technical, so they added in the faster sweeping stuff, which was nice. Nice to get the bikes to rev out a bit, get some speed. It was really good.
For Sean Captain Kirk, he was in a dice with Brett Stevens for the win in the Masters. 62 points apiece, and they were only 3 points ahead of Matthew Barker. Masters was tight at the top. For the pro elite racers, it was all a 5-lap racing affair. Everyone chasing down on Sequeira, and then in the Masters, Justin Broughton came out swinging at the final round. He arrived at this round 4th place on points on 50 as the magic number, chasing down on Matty Barker 59, and Kirk and Stevens tied on 62. It was tight for the Masters win.
It was a pretty good race today. We needed to at least beat Brett Stevens for the championship win, and unfortunately he wasn't able to do that. But today was great, so well done to the Enduro World Club. They've put on a great series this year, and overall all the competitors I think had a brilliant time, and it was an absolutely brilliant series.
So Masters were the first to see the flag on the day and wrap up their championship chase, leaving the rest of the categories out on the mountains. Pro B's was a tight battle between Whitey Oosthuizen and Ronald Venter and Vinnie Labuskakny. High school's all about this kid, Armand Fourie, the perfect score on the championship.
Yeah, no, today was a good day. It was very bumpy. Didn't have one clean lap, crashed every lap, but it was a very tough day compared to Titan's last EWXC. Today was very demanding.
The track was rough and bumpy, but got some blisters, but it was okay. Had some few passes and battles with some oaks, but we enjoyed it when I was finished.
Manny Wilson and Dumal Duplessis held their heads high, but it was 4 wins out of 4 starts for Fourie to take the high school win. Pro B's was busy as well. Simpiwe and Mklungu came into this final round in 3rd, chasing down on Anthony Obrenser and Austin Stewart. But in the pros, unstoppable and the fastest lap times on the day, the whole day, for 5 laps, was Walker.
Yeah, yes, it's good to be back in Joburg racing again because I've moved down to Natal. And man, this terrain is relentless. Yes, I've forgotten about it.
Walker in the Yamaha pulled the whole shot and never looked back. He had some tasty riders though. It seemed like KZN had got some frequent flyer miles and all maxed out. As we saw some big swingers coming out from KZN. Warwick Neve and Barn Erasmus all the way from Nelspruit made the trip to go 1, 2 and 3, but it was Walker at the flag.
It feels really good to get the win. The hard work's really paying off.
Yeah, so I'm trying to better everything this year. Want to get my game up for everything, but yeah, Armand's also on it this year, but trying to do some enduros and do okay then.
We are extremely happy with the course that was set out. We managed to pull it to come to the end, bring it home to the end. It was extremely challenging, but extremely exciting at the same time.
Thank you to the EWXC club for hosting the event. It was tough, but it was nice.
So we've had 4 races. We planned on 5, but obviously with so many events at this time of year, we can't actually have another race because there's no available dates. So yeah, it's all wrapped up. We'll have a prize giving. We're still waiting for a few results to be finalized up at the timing tent. And yeah, by later on it'll all be sorted.
Confirmation of the win then going to Walker ahead of Neve and Erasmus. Will Slater, the king of the MP, went down to a number 4 spot ahead of Rob Garvey, who dropped down to 2nd place in the championship. Pro B's was all about Anthony Abramser once again getting it done ahead of Stuart Besson and Mklungu, with Grabby getting a number 5 ahead of Masango. In the high schools, confirmation of 4 for 4 out of Armand Fourie. He is the champion, and on the day ahead of Wilson, Duplessis and Silver. For the senior pros, Ronnie Venter got the job done ahead of the unstoppable Whitey Oosthuizen, and Vincent Labuskakny did a good enough job on the ancient Honda to tag a number 3 finish on the day. Masters was all about Justin Broughton and the old Sherco ahead of Pierre Buerta. Brett Stevens, his 3rd place, nailed down the championship ahead of Kirky and Horlocker. So that was race number 1. But stay tuned. Race number 2 and 3 highlights coming up. With race 1 in the bag, races 2 and 3 got themselves pumped and good to go.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Fitness is there. Been doing all the training and eating well.
Pretty nerve-wracking, but this is their home ground, so I do feel comfortable. So yeah, all 4 of them are pride and joy.
It looks pretty hard is what they say. They say it's very similar to the TT or the time trial. They're just doing it the opposite way around. So I'm very excited, a bit nervous, but yeah.
I've been just putting in the hours, long loops, riding with a bunch of my mates. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm expecting it to be quite flowy. I know Heidelberg is quite a nice place to ride. I haven't ridden here in a while though, so I'm not really sure where it's going. But I think it's going to be an awesome race overall.
The morning cool weather was starting to lift the temperatures, and off the gate, the temperatures and blood pressure were certainly high. In the Silver A's, Isaac van der Kerk was the man to beat, and everyone knew that as well, as he got totally creamed out of contention early on the start chute. That left a gap open for the rest of the riders, but Isaac van der Kerk did recover, would pick himself up and charge his way through traffic and get back to where he needed to be. It was going to be an interesting afternoon's race as the temperatures started to soar at Heidelberg. Jonathan Edwards slotted himself into a number 2 spot early on, followed by Leroy Haynes, Sean Dupria and Louis Joubert. Those were the guys that were dicing it out inside of the top 5 for the Silver A's. Silver B's, it was all about the 309 of Lionel Oosthuizen. He, on the day at Heidelberg, was the man to beat, with the young upstart Matt Battersby starting to get good on the 125 as he held on to a number 2 spot ahead of Chad Batasso.
First lap was extremely challenging. Actually had a good start, and then there was a bottleneck and lost all my energy on the bottleneck, and that was early on in the race, the first 5Ks. So finishing the first lap was incredibly difficult, but the rest, well, the last 5Ks of the route was nice and flowing, and you could actually get your breath back.
In the clubbies, Christian Fick has been the man to beat on the season. This time around, he ran out front once again with Ryan Wilson in the number 2 spot, Raymond Gerd in 3rd place in the early stages of the race, and Mark Newman trying to consolidate his points in 4th. For the Pro Minis, Matty Stephen untouchable once again, with Josh Monroe, Danny Monroe and Tyron Paltzer doing the big chase down on the day. For the ladies, just 2 ladies racing out of the ladies B class. Leandro Williams and Kendra Lewis Montano showed us what was going on. And then the 220 of Justin Rom was super fast on the day, ahead of Gerrit Vosler and Bradley Spencer, with Jake Haynes and Keegan Fowler rounding out the top 5 in the 65s. What these kids can do on this terrain is mind-bending. And then the 85s, big story on the day, was all about the kids absolutely ripping it, but scoring out of both categories. Justin Rome was trying to get his points on the plate for every single category. The Monroes were going to be in the mix, fighting it out, but where would they end up?
I said this was going to be easy.
Who talked you into the race?
Mr. Dave and Andre Ruiz.
I had nothing to do with this. I'm just a marshal.
Without him, I'm so blessed to have him. Thank you guys, first race ever.
That's actually Sean Malco. It's our coach at gym.
The base fit trainer.
And we
the first time on the back of a bony
find out how
race.
fit he is.
It doesn't matter how fit you are, if you don't do saddle time, you're screwed.
Yeah. Johnny, pain is?
Pain is what you call weakness leaving the body.
There we go. Cramping up.
Is it going as planned?
No, not at all. And the adjustments I made before the race, I should have probably tested the bike before the race. It is way too rich, and it keeps on bogging on every climb, and
Gotta love those reactions for the guys out there sweating it on the hills of Heidelberg. Back on the flatlands though, stories were we were starting to bring the kids, boys and girls, all home at the end of an epic day to round out what was to be the final round of the EWXCs. Christian Fick did what he had to do and showed everybody the way around to once again go for a clean score sheet in the clubbies. He did a great job to stay ahead of Ryan Wilson, Raymond Gerd and Newman. But in the A's, Johnny Edwards was doing a sterling job, and the fight back kid on the 55, Isaac van der Kerk, went 4 for 4 on the championship to go and win out in the Silver A's. And this was one pumped and emotional dude at the finish line.
the first lap was okay, but by the second lap, this last climb, just going over the mountain, was absolutely just dug out everywhere, and there were people just scattered. Had some issues on the second lap, as I told you before. Had to fix the radiator hose, but
from there on, just full taps open. I just want to say, I just want to dedicate this win to my mom. She actually passed away this week. So, Mom, I love you, and I'm sure she's with God and very happy.
A great ride and a beautiful sentiment for Isaac. What a star. So here's confirmation of the results coming in from races 2 and 3. In the Silver A's, Isaac van der Kerk gets it ahead of Edwards, Haynes, Duprier and Joubert. Those were the superstars inside the top 5, banging super fast lap times. In the Silver B's, Lionel Oosthuizen this time around beating out the young Matty Battersby, and then Botasso beating out Macon and DeLuca. Those squeaked the top 5 this time around. For the clubs, Christian Fick, that's been one man at the top of the charts the whole way through the season, ahead of Wilson, Gerd, Newman and Van Schiever. Pro Minis, all about Maddie Stevens beating out the Monroes, Joshua and Danny, as well as Belzer. And the ladies, it was Leandra Williams that took the final win of the season. For our junior classes, the 65s were dominated by Justin Rom once again, ahead of Vosloo and Spencer. And then it was Angelo Dimitriatis getting that done in the 85s. That rounds out our coverage, and it also wraps up the season for the EWXCs. Heidelberg delivering the goods once again. Tune in and hang on. 2021 is just around the corner. So that is one tour in the bag. It is incredible to see what these guys are able to do out there and what the Michelin EWXC Tour is all about. We're getting ourselves locked and loaded and ready to work with the crew as we go into 2021. Congratulations to all the champions, and we just hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to be bringing you much, much more as time ticks on. For now, we're signing out. Stay tuned. Hollywood and LiveX bringing you a ton of new stuff as we close out on this insane 2020 season.